Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Andrew Ruffin, and today I'm here with author Richard Tierney. Richard, thank you for being with me today.
Andrew, really glad to be here. I've said to say I've got a great appreciation for you guys who host these podcasts to allow people like us to talk. Thank you very much. Really good to be
Ab-
here.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. Now, you wrote a book called Trauma Recovery Anonymous. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, I did
Okay.
indeed.
So I would like to start with you defining trauma for me, please.
Oh, this is beautiful. I love this. I have a take on trauma, which is completely different, and I think it's going to revolutionize trauma as we know it. I believe that we each and every one of us suffer trauma at birth. Now, what happens is that yeah, if you can accept the premise that we are children of God and we're made in His image, this explains an awful lot. You see, when we're born, we're given God's given instincts of our feelings and emotions that when in danger, we react with fight, flight, or freeze. So we're in the room and we're coming out of the room and we're scared stiff what's happening. We don't know what's happening. So when you come out of the room, if you come out of the room comatose, you're in freeze. But the midwife holds you up and slaps you in the bum to get a reaction out of your body. And when you start crying, they put you in a blanket and put you in a cot. In that moment, your God-given instinct to freeze when danger happens has been taken from you. You've got the message now. You can never freeze because it doesn't work. But that's your natural go-to. So you come into life where you're stuck in fight or flight because your natural response to danger, which is freeze, has been taken from you. You're in this no man land of not knowing what to do. So many people in these days go through life in a state of fight or flight. They can't make a decision. Then you have the child that comes out of the room is kicking and screaming, and you don't know if you're in fight or flight. If they're in fight and they're wrapped into a blanket and put into a cot, they're told they can't fight. So for the rest of their lives, they're going to react with flight or freeze, but it's not their natural response. So they're fighters who are being deprived of the ability to fight. And now they're stuck in something that they don't want to do is to flight or freeze because it's not their nature. So they're stuck. And then you have the baby who comes out flaying arms and legs trying to run away and wrapped in a blanket, put in a cot. And again, now their message is you can never fight. So now they have to choose fight or freeze, two two concepts that they would never normally choose. So they're in a state of trauma to begin with. Before life starts, they're in the state where they can't trust their God-given instinct to fight or flight or freeze as they go into life. And then they suffer situations and maybe they grow up in a home where parents said children should be seen and not heard. And you can't react to your parents and you can't. And suddenly you're being deprived of another reaction and so on. So, and then there's a child that comes out of the womb who comes out perfectly happy, peaceful, and the midwife thinks the child is so calm, I'll give it straight to the mother. And when it touches the mother's breast and its heart touches the heart of the mother, it's whole and complete. We meet these people in life who are we think, God, I wish I was like him. He's got like he's the movie star or the football player or the sports whatever. You look at Tiger Woods or Nick Faldo or Messi or Ronaldo or John Wayne or these people who have this Keanu Reeves, this tremendous sense of self-worth and self-being, and you wish you were like them because they never had any of their responses to danger taken from them at birth. They have them going into life, and then they can respond according to their nature, they can respond properly. Where the rest of us are all kind of in a flummox, wondering how we're going to deal with it. And that's my understanding is that the problem we have is a spiritual illness. This trauma is a trauma of our soul, of the ability to be our true selves. So then we get stuck trying to be something else or trying to wear a mask or people please.
That is incredibly interesting, and like you said, it's a definition that I haven't quite heard exactly put that way before. But if we come into the world with all of these conditions that set us up for trauma, what hope do we have?
But thankfully, when I was growing up, we had the church, we had religion, we had Bible study in school, Bible reading at home, all that kind of stuff we had. So we learned about feeding the soul, which is a really big part of this. And nowadays, children and even adults don't get to feed their soul. I mean, it's almost like if you say, I read the Bible, people think there's something wrong about you. You're a weirdo, you're a wacky weirdo, religious fanatic.
Mhm.
Stay away from him, you know? But there's so much in the Bible that can ease our soul and feed our soul if we only took a time to read it. And the Bible even says, don't join a church, a denomination, or a religion. Don't stand on the street corners preaching to the world. Grab your Bible, go into your bedroom, lock the door, close the curtains, turn off the lights, climb into the wardrobe, and have a personal relationship with me. So you can do this in the privacy of your space, your own space, your secret space. If your tribe are atheists and unbelievers, in their company you remain an atheist and unbeliever. But for yourself, you find some place where you can take care of you and go and start learning how to feed your soul. All
Hmm.
that stuff that you should have been given in your childhood with classes on religion and not religion. I hate that word religion. I even hate the word Christianity. But words that can teach you about the power of miracles, and you can claim miracles in your life. That's I'm not talking about changing water to wine or raising the dead, but casting out your demons or quietening the voice in your head for 24 hours. These, for me, are the miracles that we can claim any day.
Okay, so this kind of book doesn't just come out of nowhere, right? So what happened that made you say, I need to write this book. I need to address this topic.
Okay, but again, we've all had trauma, and we can all identify with something. It may be a loss of a loved one, it may be a loss of your pet, your grandparent who you're very close to, your parent, a parent losing a child. We all have trauma in our lives that really affects us and it can destroy us. And many people don't recover from it, and others sink into a world of addiction to feed the hole in our soul. We're filling our soul with food, or sugar, or sex, or porn, or alcohol, or drugs, or medication, trying anything to fill that hole in their soul because we don't have the recollection that there's a healing from God that we are allowed to claim miracles, and so trying to feel it with man-made solutions,
Hmm.
therapy, talk therapy, meditation. Even meditation can be a negative. We're trying to fill this hole in our soul with anything outside of ourselves, but it can't be filled with anything outside of ourselves. It has to be filled by healing the hole in our soul, by mending our broken spirit. So for me, I went from this a trauma event in my childhood, on top of coming out. I think I came out of the womb as a fighter, and I was wrapped up in a blanket. And then I learned I couldn't fight, so I had to act out in freeze or flight. But my nature inside is to fight, so I'm lost. I'm stuck in between a state of fight and flight, and all I can do is gamble, become a gambling addict, alcohol, pouring alcohol into my system, becoming a recovering alcoholic. So I have these addictions in my life, trying to fill the hole in my soul. And with that, I was going to therapy for my trauma event I experienced as a 12-year-old child. And my two therapists were the most wonderful, caring, empathetic people. But I came to realize, as 27 years of age, that they were out of their depth. As much as they were caring and empathetic, they couldn't help me because the problem wasn't a physical one, it wasn't a mental one, it wasn't emotional. It was a hole in my soul, and they couldn't help me.
Hmm. So as you put this book out into the world, and I know that you make videos and you try to inspire people with these messages, is there a specific message that you hope to convey over all else? Is there something specific that you hope people take away from your message?
Okay, well, there's probably three. One is that we're not the victim or the target. So I suffered a trauma event when I was 12 years of age, and I believe that this person singled me out and robbed me of my innocence, and I must have been the victim, and I would go around bitching and moaning and venting about how I was a victim and this happened to me. And the truth is, I wasn't his victim. This person chose to act out, and it happened to be we're in the same environment. I wasn't in the wrong place at the wrong time, or I didn't get up that morning thinking, I'm going to find a child called Richard Tierney and take his innocence. He was going to act out with someone, somewhere, some whatever, and I was happened to come into my environment. I wasn't in the wrong place. I wasn't his victim. I wasn't his martyr. And if we can understand that everything that happens in our lives, good, bad, or indifference, we're not the target, we're not the victim or martyr, everything changes. If I can get out of being a victim, then everything about my life changes because now I realize it didn't happen to me. It's not like I live in Thailand and there's been a big push, and like in America, to remove aliens and illegal aliens. I can't turn around and say, well, the Thai government got together and decided they're going to get rid of Richard Tierney, but they're going to get rid of all the aliens so they can get rid of Richard Tierney. So it's all about Richard Tierney. If they're getting rid of the aliens and I have to be caught in that nest, that's just me getting caught up in that, but it wasn't about me.
Right.
And this, so we have to learn that we're not the victim. We have to get out of that victim idea that we're victims. The second step of the 12 step program is that we're never alone. I can talk to you, Andrew. I can talk to my wife. I can talk to my children. I can talk to my dog. I bring my dog for a walk and I'll talk to him. I'll basically give him all my crap about what's going on in my head. And he'll walk and do his own thing and do his pees and poos and bring him home again. But I feel as though I've given it to somebody. There's all these resources on social media and YouTube and Spotify and videos and audios, and there's so much out there. And there's books and libraries are free, and there's therapists and psychotherapists. We're never alone. There's always someone we can talk to. We can go to a church and get a priest to take our confession and give him all our sins, and you take it off us for a reprieve. I have a practice I share with my clients where at night time you get down on your knees and you say, God, this is my cross. I've carried it since the day I was born. Like your son Jesus, I faulted more than once. It has all of my past and all the future on it. It has all my fear, doubt, insecurity, shame, blame, all that kind of stuff, resentments on us, and fear and insecurity for the future. And then I have a sheet of paper with a list of all the people, places, and things that trigger me. And it has these people, I name them all out. And I say, take this from me for 8 hours sleep. And then I go into the bathroom, take that page, light it, drop it in the toilet, flush it so it goes out of my environment. Get into bed, close your eyes, put your head in the pillow, smile, and fall asleep. And 8 hours later, I wake up realizing I've 8 hours of peaceful sleep, no nightmares, no flashbacks. That was wonderful. I get down on my knees and say, God, I'm ready to take my cross back. And then I hear his voice saying, my beautiful beloved child, Richard, this is your new cross. It's a 16-hour cross. It's only for today and today only, for 8 hours of work and 8 hours of play. Forget all the past, I've taken that from you. Forget all the future, I've taken that from you. Forget your list, I've taken all those people from you. They're my battle now. I want you to focus on these 16 hours only. Live in these 16 hours today. Give me 100% of your best efforts today. If your best effort is only 30%, I want 100% of that 30%. Practice self-restraint, self-care. Don't try and fix or save anybody. Don't people please. Just do your day's work. And at the end of the day, come to me, tell me about all your wins and losses, your successes and failures. Give me your crap, and I'll give you another 8 hours sleep. I will do this each day. And that's the second thing, that we're not alone. We're not the victim. We're not the target. And the next one is give God a second chance. If you've known God in your past and you became disillusioned or you blamed him or you led to believe that he didn't care about you, give him a second chance. Say, God, here's all my crap. Climb into your wardrobe. No one knows you're doing this. Don't tell anyone you're doing it. Here is my list. Take it from me and give me peace of mind for 10 minutes, for half an hour, for an hour. And he will give it to you. The Bible says, this is the last bit I'm going to share with you. I think you have beyond the time. Our prayers are the things we say to ourselves all day long. It's not what we learned at our mother's knee or in church or in school. It's what we say to ourselves when we think no one's listening. They're our prayers, and God answers them tenfold. He gave us free will in the book of instructions, the Bible, on how to use our free will properly. He's completely flabbergasted why we choose scarcity and poverty when we could be choosing wealth and abundance and riches and happiness and joy. But we're going around all day saying, I have depression, no one loves me, no one likes me, I can't get a job, no one will give me a job, I'll never meet anybody, I'll never get married, I'll never be settled, I'll never have children. If these are our thoughts we're saying to ourselves, these are our prayers, and God answers them tenfold. So I say to my clients, from today, put down, up until this morning, I believed that I had depression and my life was over. But after listening to on Andrew's show, I've come to understand that I am perfect as I am today. No better and no worse than anybody else. It's okay to be a perfectly normal, boring human being. And today I am filled with a sense of hope. I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not an oncoming train. It's hope, and I am very excited about my life. And you repeat that prayer all day long today. And then tomorrow you say, up until yesterday morning, I believed I was depressed and my life was over. But today, the hope in me is growing and I feel very excited. And then in another few days, you say, in the past, I used to think this way, but now I feel this way. And the more you do this, the more God hears this new prayer. He hears you discarding your old prayer and he feeds the new prayer. And suddenly you're filled with hope and a self-acceptance and worth and purpose. And everything changes.
Mhm. Wow, that is awesome, Richard. I really appreciate you breaking that down. That is really, really awesome. I know that you've answered this in little ways throughout what you've already said, but I want to give you a chance and for our audience to be able to hear this. The person that's watching you is saying, hey, but my trauma specifically is this thing you're telling me to go to. You're telling me to go to God. You're telling me to go to the word of God and all of these things, but I associate my trauma with that. I associate my trauma with the church or different people in the church or those types of things. I know
Okay,
that there's someone watching that's thinking that. What do you say to
okay.
that?
But okay, it's very simple. I'm a 64-year-old man today. I'm a husband and a father. I'm living in Thailand, 7,000 miles away from my home. Both my parents are dead. Both sets of grandparents are dead. Most of my aunts and uncles are dead, bar one. Of my siblings, one is dead. I'm this person living today here in Thailand. Uh, a 12-year-old child, 7,000 miles away, 52 years ago, suffered a trauma event. His parents were alive, his grandparents were alive, his five siblings were alive. He's living in his family home. He's going to school, and he suffered a trauma event. Now, I'm a 64-year-old man who didn't suffer that trauma event. I carry the memory of what happened to that child, and I carry sympathy pains for that child, but it didn't happen to me. I'm a
Mm,
64-year-old man. If that person came near me and tried to traumatize me, I'd kill him because I'm a 60-year-old man. I can defend myself. But it happened to a 12-year-old child. So I can't say my trauma because it's not my trauma. This is the truth. If we don't have a sense of purpose in our lives today, we look for it in the past and we'll claim the past as being ours and we'll suffer it because that gives us a meaning for life. I'm a victim. This happened to me. This is my purpose.
mhm,
So we have to find a way of feeding our soul so we can have a purpose in the present and let go of the past. Now, the truth is, I wouldn't be standing today if my 12-year-old inner child hadn't suffered, endured, survived, and overcame that trauma. If he had succumbed to the trauma, I wouldn't be alive today. He would have killed himself and I wouldn't be alive today. But he overcame it, so I have a life today beyond his wildest dreams. And he has no desire for me to suffer his pain for him when he's already defeated it. It's like I go back into my subconscious mind and I go back into the life of my 12-year-old inner child and I dig up his grave and I take from his grave this cloak and I put this cloak on my shoulders and it's the cloak of all his pains and hurts and I put it on my shoulders and I step into my presence saying, I suffered this trauma. My inner child saying, excuse my language, what the hell are you doing, Richard? That's my pain. I dealt with already. Why are you giving life to it? You are
mm,
destroying your life and you're self-sabotaging because I can't cross over into the light, into the mansion prepared for me in a father's mansion without all my baggage. And you're giving life to my baggage in your present. You're taking the death and decay of my dead thing and giving it life in your present. And it's destroying everything it touches in your life. It's not your business. It's not your past. You live your life in the present to give me my past back. So if someone says to me, I suffered this trauma, the truth is we didn't. And I have to convey that to a client in a way that they understand that they're living a lie. Not intentionally, not bad-hearted or bad-willed. They've just been led to believe that it's okay to do regression therapy, to go back in and save your inner child. When the truth is, your child didn't need help defeating that trauma and doesn't want you to give life to it in the present. And all it wants for you to do is give it back to them so they can be free to leave. And once they leave, we feel the release in our bodies mentally, physically, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. We feel this lift, the whole in our soul disappears. Our weight falls off our shoulders, like the stress we carry, the weight of the world on our shoulders falls off our shoulders. The anxiety and panic of the future leaves like an elephant gets off our chest and leaves the room. And the freedom in that moment is profound. So this program is a two-part program. The first part is a 3-hour healing event calling How to Heal Any Past Trauma Memory. The book is available on the Amazon platform exclusively, or you can contact me directly and I'll take you through the process. And then the 12-step program is a separate program that we do. In the 3-hour event, we do 2 hours for the healing event, and 1 hour I take you through a synopsis of the 12-step program. But you get the 12-step program on basically any book platform in digital or print, and we work through the 12-step program. When I work with a client personally who's come through me to the healing event, I then work 12 weeks over the 12 steps to help them really kind of acclimatize and put them into their lives.
wow, that is so, so powerful. Thank you so much for Richard, thank you for being with me today. In this short amount of time, I feel like myself and the audience is going to be able to take away so much from this interview. So, and anyone who wants to learn more about Richard's book, please click on the links below. It'll take you straight to his Amazon page, and you can pick that up yourself. Richard, thank you again for being with me today.
Andrew, you're going to leave you my email address if someone wants to reach out. It's information at traumarecoveryanonymous.com.
Awesome, awesome. And those of you watching, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.